Guys, and welcome back to Movie Files. Elliot here to give you guys my review for the film The First Purge, which is actually the fourth film in the franchise. So this movie is basically, this is the starting point. This is where it all started. And that's where I'll kind of start my review here, guys. This is a non-spoiler review. I'm just going to touch on things that we've seen in the trailer, things I liked, didn't like, and then give you guys a ranking as far as my Purge order of like and dislikes of the film franchise. So this film did a good job, number one, of really establishing the world. So to be honest with you guys, there's not a lot going on action horror-wise until almost close to the second half of the film. The first half really does, in my opinion, does a pretty decent job, more so than the other previous movies, of establishing the world that we're in. So obviously, this is the first Purge, so they let you know how this came about. So you have this group organization, the NFFA, which I believe stood for the National Founding Fathers of America, what have you. They get into office, they implement this first purge. They do it more of an isolated, isolated experiment, social experiment, which again you can see from the trailers. And again, that's where I started my positives here. I liked how they just took their time. You got to meet the characters. You have, I believe his name is Y'lan Noel. He's from Insecure, which is a really good show on HBO, really hilarious. He's the main character. I think he did a good job, and his character development worked to a certain extent for me. Also, the surrounding characters, but the supporting characters had their moments to kind of shine and introduce what they're about and kind of their background. So I thought that the first act did a good job of just letting you know this is what we're kind of establishing, how it got started, and they did a good job of doing that in my opinion. Now, as far as other positives, there's a couple moments where, we got some really, really good laughs from this film. There's this character named Dolores, who I would love to know, for those that have seen it, did you think a lot of her comedic moments worked, or did they not work for you personally? For me, they did work. I thought she was hilarious. She was one of the standouts for me. And there's also, this is really a question I would love to know from you guys that's seen the movie and will see the movie. There's this character named Skeletor. He's in the trailers very briefly. He's not a main character in the trailer, but he has a pretty big presence in this film. I would love to know you guys' opinion on the Skeletor character, because our screening, when we saw this movie on Monday, they loved the character. Like, every time he was on screen, whatever he said, whatever he did, they just loved him. So I would love to know what you guys think of this Skeletor character. For me, he worked at moments, but for the most part, it was just too over the top. But other than that, there's a couple moments that, as far as a directorial, I believe this is the director's first movie, there's just one particular scene in the movie that takes place in this hallway, and it was like really well shot to me. It was a really kind of daredevil-esque type of staircase fight scene, Atomic Blonde type of moments, where to me it was handled pretty well. So there was a couple moments throughout the film. There was some camera work decisions I thought worked pretty well in this franchise. It's something new in the franchise. Now, as far as my negatives go, this is a Purge movie, and again, I'm going to give you guys my ranking towards the end, but it comes with the territory as far as what you get with these films. They're cheesy at times. At this point, they're not scary at all. They're more, thrillers more than anything, and this is definitely it touches on jump scare galore. As the only horror part, there's a lot of silly jump scares, but as far as negatives, this film is definitely, from the marketing, from Jump Street, this film has something to say about the political climate, as so did the last Purge, the Purge election. It was obviously going around when the election period was going on. We had Hillary versus Trump. And this film is not afraid to let you know where their political stance is in this film, which is perfectly fine. I know some people don't like when they bring real-world elements into film. They want to get away, but I thought that was fine with the director. My only thing with that was just the way they handled it. It glazed over a lot of things. Obviously, in the trailer, they let you know that the government's coming into these low-income areas, and they're taking matters in their own hands, because you have people partying in the streets during the Purge, people robbing stores or what have you. So they had to step in. And again, like I said, I thought that nothing wrong with political statements, making a statement in the film, but I just thought that they just glanced over it. They really didn't touch too much into these topics as far as, singling out certain ethnic groups, minorities. They didn't really touch on that too much. It just kind of gave it to you and just kind of left it at that. So I didn't really like that idea. I thought that they had the opportunity to kind of explore more things. And then again, as far as negatives, The Purge isn't my favorite franchise. There is a moment of there's moments where I caught myself laughing where I know it wasn't meant to be laughed at, because it's just things that aren't handled the best. But anyway, guys, I think wrapping up this review here, and I'll give you guys my rankings here. But if you're a fan of the Purge franchise, 1, 2, and 3, more particularly 2 and 3, because those are more different different flavor than the first, and the first was definitely more of a home invasion, individual home invasion moment or movie. I think you will like this film. This definitely has some entertaining moments. Again, I thought that most of the characters worked. I thought that the comedy, even if it wasn't meant to be funny at times, I think that it landed on the moments they meant to be funny. And as far as, like I said, it's not a horror film, so this is not horror. But as far as the action elements go, there's definitely some over-the-top action where it's like you'll know exactly what I mean when I see the film. There's a particular group of people in this film, this gang that just becomes assassins. Like they're just straight up assassins, and they're skilled. I don't want to give too much away, but it's just I would love to know what you guys think of this switch of the light where they're just taking out people left and right. But anyway, I think if you're a fan of the franchise, you'll enjoy it. It has entertaining moments. Not all of it worked for me, but again, with it being an early free screening, I thought that it definitely exceeded my expectations because I came in with pretty much no expectations for this movie. So with that, guys, I'm going to give this film, I'm going to give it a 2.8 out of 5. It's not a full good movie to me, but it's also not terrible. So I thought this movie was going to be terrible based on the last Purge movie, which, by the way, I'm going to give this, I have the second Purge as my favorite Purge movie because it was really like Frank Grillo was the Punisher taking out people, and I just really enjoyed that one. I would say actually this one, the first Purge, is my second movie in the franchise that I would say is okay. Then I have the first one. I really wasn't a big fan. I love Ethan Hawke, and I love, again, the Purge. The idea of the Purge really was the scary element about it. Like, what if this actually happened? And again, I just thought that some things worked in the Purge movie and some things didn't, but other than that, at the very bottom of my list is election night or election purge, the election, whatever it's called. It was terrible, in my opinion. But anyway, like I said, I have 2, 1. No, I'm sorry. I have 2, 4, 1, and the third one as far as my rankings go. So with that being said, guys, again, if you like The Purge, check it out. Let me know in the comments what you guys thought about some of the characters, some of the moments, where you kind of rank this movie. But for me, like I said, I'm giving it 2.8 out of 5. If you like the film, check it out. But anyway, guys, what to keep an eye out for. We got Ant-Man and the Wasp coming out for you guys here later this week that I will have a review for, and some other awesome stuff coming later down the pipe. You have Sorry to Bother You, Hot Summer Nights, Mission Impossible Fallout. A lot of awesome content coming out this month, so definitely keep an eye out for that. For you guys that are really heavily using Instagram, follow us on Instagram at Movie Files. We're using IGTV, doing some things with IGTV. We got some awesome posts, so check us out there, as well as Twitter, Facebook, all that's in the description. Leave your comments, like this video, share this video, subscribe to our channel. And as always, guys, I appreciate you guys tuning in, and we'll see you on the next video.